All right, next video, I want to try and do a quick one. I want to change the color on this one. Right now it's kind of boring. My color is always white. I want to randomize it a little bit. So let's show how we would randomize this. First of all, I need to keep track of my color. So for each bubble, yeah, well, we'll get into like making more bubbles, but let's just say that our bubble should have a color. If you don't know this about processing, you're about to learn it, but you can store an RGB value in a single int. You don't need to have an integer for R and for G and for B. You can actually store them entirely in one color. Let me show you how you would do that. You would say, in our constructor, we could say color is equal to, we need a tool from processing, so we'll access canvas dot color, and this method can take in 3 values, an R, a G, and a B, and it'll convert that into a single integer that we can use for our color. So let's say if I did 255, 0, 0. That's going to set our color to be, yeah, it's going to set it to be red. But the color will be a single integer value, which I think is kind of cool. Now to use that, when we do this display, we need to change the ink that's being used on the canvas. So what we can do is we can say canvas fill, not dill, fill, based on color. Now if we run that, we get a red dot. Looking pretty good. All right, let's see. What's next, though? Okay, it doesn't always have to be red, though. Let's do something different. Let's make this a random color. So I can set these 3 values to be set them to be a random value between 0 and 255. Again, Canvas gives me a lovely tool I can use for this. I can say canvas random 255. If you don't know what this thing does, basically it's something we're accessing from processing, and it's going to give us a random value somewhere between 0 and 255. So if I do that for each one of my values here, I'm going to get a random color ball when I create this. Create a new one. Random colored ball. Random. Yeah, there we go. Slightly different color there. Okay, so let's also, let's do that when we hit the edge. If we hit the edge, I'm going to do something gross. I'm going to copy and paste this in here. Let's just see how it works at least, and then we'll talk about how we can make it not so gross. All right, so now you can see it's touching the edge and it's changing colors every time it touches. That's kind of cool. Again, I'm not doing this because I want you to recreate this. I want you to recode along with me, but I also want you to think like, okay, how could I do something like this for my game? How does this give me a new skill for my game? I'm kind of changing the color of these things. And we'll talk in a minute about how we can make multiple objects, which I think is the most important part. But before I do that, let me stop grossing myself out. Copying and pasting is not great. What I want to do is I want to make a little method here. I'm going to make a method inside of my class, public int random color. And then I could return. So basically what this is going to do is it's just going to generate for me an integer, the integer value of like a random color. So it's going to like do all this work just inside this method, and it'll just send me back a nice clean number. What that means is I could say random color like that. Color is random color. That's a little less copy-pasty. What's nice about that too is if I decide later on I want to like change my colors a little bit, like I want to make a random, I don't want to have any red in my color for some reason. I can make that a random value of 0. Oh, I broke something. What did I break? We can look through our errors here. Look, it's happening, getting called in the app, and it's happening in line 17. I missed the statement here. Oh, random color. Boom. So you should be able to look through these and figure out kind of what's going wrong. It's happening in line 17. All right, let's run that again. Great. Now we got the little bounce. I don't know if it's showing up on the screen very well, but it is changing colors. Okay, so we did that. We added in some randomness in here. We added some random colors. That's cool. Let's pause that and let's move on to the next one. We're going to do some arrayless stuff.